Just letting you know this is only my spoiler first impressions of the episode. Check my pinned comment for a free gift related to this video. And to watch my unfiltered reactions with exclusive bonuses, join my Asha Media TV Club. The link is in the description box below. Now, here's my afterthoughts of this episode of Fringe.
Okay. Let me stay focused here. This format works for me to subside my anxiety and all that, and to, stay on track and do my best to the best of my ability to trust the process, trust the show, trust the writers, as I'm always told for almost every single show. And even when I'm told that, you're always going to get that faction of people that leave their comments saying, oh, the show sucks anyway, but it's like, my moderator has told me some comments, the ones that he could, without spoiling anything, of some of the negative ones he just takes out because he doesn't want to, he finds them a bummer for me. But at the same time, I'm glad it's shared after the fact. Like, it's usually after the episodes go on and my reactions go on YouTube, then he'll share a couple of them with me. But after watching the whole series, I'm gonna read all of them, so they're not fully 100% deleted. There, I want to read every single comment. But it's fascinating. I'm just saying it's fascinating. The hardcore fans of this will defend this show to the death, and those that apparently don't like seasons 4 and 5, which apparently are the 2 seasons that are quite contentious in the Fringe fandom. I just find it very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Back to the beginning here. Let's start from the beginning. I like that they just got right to the point with Lincoln's death. I was a bit worried after watching the previous episode that it was just going to be, somewhat the only wrap-up we'd have would be with Folivia and the moment she was looking at the pictures and all that stuff, and then having her connection a bit here with the new Lincoln. I'm just going to say Lincoln, no, that's who I mean now, the Lincoln that's alive and well. But I like that they did have, even though it was brief, it was still quite nicely done with the parents being there and the mother saying, why our kids shouldn't die before us. And it touches on so many tones, especially with the heart of the show being about a father's love for his son and what he would do to save his son, which ties in beautifully with the theme of this episode with Broyles. I'll get to that. Okay. So the beginning, I enjoyed that. I thought it was well done with the funeral. Not too long, not too short. Poignant moments, especially with Alt Astrid, who Jessica is just nailing it to the degree where in the moment as I'm watching them together, I forget, it's like, I don't forget, but I'm just saying it's so convincing. They're 2 very different characters. I love it. But to think that she's now experiencing grief on this level, I mean, her father, and then how she couldn't deal with that, and then crossing over to talk to Astrid, and then her Lincoln, and now her Broyles, essentially, although not dead, he's in prison, and that's going to take a toll on her. And I wonder if they're going to have a very distinct journey with Alt Astrid, perhaps not being able to deal with that. And so I hope, just because they showed that scene of her and Astrid reconnecting, I hope there's maybe going to be more episodes or more instances of Prime Astrid being a source of support for Alt Astrid as things get worse for her. Because that's a lot to take in, considering how sensitive she is and how expressing her emotions is such a challenge. All right, moving on a little further. Nina, yes. Oh, gosh. I love watching Nina. I just love watching Nina. Okay, Nina and Olivia. I'm trying to practice saying Olivia when we are dealing with an Olivia for the episode, because it's not, it's weird for me sometimes, back and forth with Olivia for Olivia, but Olivia for this episode. Just the brilliance in performance. Okay, I'm focusing on performance right now for this moment because it's just, oh, it's so good. And one of the ways you can tell, just in case you're not a person that pays attention to that kind of stuff, I'm just throwing it out there as my 2 cents. One of the ways you can tell how good an actor is in their craft is the stillness they bring in their physical embodiment of the moment. I notice in some shows, especially nowadays, and I don't, mind you, I don't know what the training is like in film school and theater schools these days, but there's a lot of what's called bobblehead movement, where when a person's really upset or angry, when they're at a heightened emotional state, their head cannot stay still as they're saying their lines. They're like talking like this the whole time. And there is one actor who's quite famous for being bobbleheadish. I'm not going to say his name just because I don't want to start a little something in the comments for those who maybe love that actor. But you see it a lot. And for me, for a person that pays attention to that, when I see it, it drives me nuts. And it's just nice to just have a really rich scene with rich dialogue between 2 really good actors who can embody that stillness in their performance for me to just take it in and enjoy it like my own personal drug. It's something, people. It's something. I love it. I love it. All right, move on. Let's get back to the story here. So the way Olivia used the revelation of Broyles to get Nina to confirm it, although you do see a version of that in quite a number of TV shows. I just like how it was done. I like how she came to the conclusion of it. It wasn't something where she watched a bunch of footage and just like wondered if it was Broyles. You know, she had a moment, a very good moment with Walter, because that's what this show excels at, I find, thankfully, is that they create really good scenes that hits many points so that as you move forward, the setup for many other things feels a bit more organic, right? We have her reconnecting with Walter. From the last time we saw them, it was a little strained, even though she was, putting out her olive branch to him. And in that moment, as she's at her weakest emotionally, in a sense, he's there to comfort her and help her and guide her through dialogue and action that is believable for Walter as viewers to watch, and then come to that conclusion through his perception of things, and then she tests it out. I just love that. I love how they just went about that. It was great. It's great because I was really thinking they're going to make it where it's going to be like a dum-dum-dum. She catches him in the act. That's what I thought. Yes, I thought her team, they were going to catch Broyles in the act somehow, perhaps with that device. He was actually going to go through with it. I really believed he was. And then they were going to catch him kind of like how they showed right before he says, I'm giving myself up kind of thing. And then I'll be honest, I was even thinking, okay, I wouldn't put it past them. They catch him and perhaps maybe some gunfire was going to happen. Maybe they'd have to take him down. I don't know. I just really believed it was going to end up in a tragic situation. And the other Broyles would have to, again, find another dead Broyles' body kind of thing. Something along those lines, but I got to go into too details. I'm just glad it's not the case, and it's a lot better than what I expected, because although I hope they don't drop the ball about his son, I mean, in terms of at least put some time, I hope in other episodes to come, even though it's almost done, the season, I just hope they do make reference as to what happens to his son now, because if Jones is not going to supply the cure, unless they're going to show that as being a merciful thing Jones might do, I don't know. But I hope there's going to be some dialogue that either Walter is going to help out to try and find a cure for his son or something of the case. Or I guess as a viewer, I'm going to be meant to just believe he's going to start to deteriorate in his health. And that'll just be something I'll have to keep in the back of my mind. And they may not address it in future episodes. I don't know. Because when it comes to the end of seasons, 2 things likely happen. They cram in a lot of story and drop other little plot lines, or they tie it up, actually, and reintroduce a new story that leads into another season. And that I'm used to with Supernatural, so that's why I'm just like, I wouldn't be surprised. But I mean, we're episode 18 out of 22. That would be a little late in the game to do that. So I think it's the first point, just they're going to cram a lot of story. Oh. Anyway, okay, let me keep going here. okay, the case of the week kind of thing. So this whole thing with frequencies and it being linked with both universes so that each counterpart suffers the same fate together. Great. I mean, just the opening shot of this boss berating his worker, even though I think that scene went on just a little bit too long, in my opinion, until, of course, we get the final part of him flip-flopping on the table, and that was very, very good. I mean, there's no way, unless you understand that right away off the bat, what was going on with all perhaps obvious clues everywhere, there's no way I could know like what the hell was going on there, except for the guy died in a really shitty way. But I really like the case of the week for sure. Okay, let me just keep scrolling for a little bit before I get to the dum moment at the end with Jones. Just going back and forth, the coloring of this episode is quite dark. Okay, well, I don't think I could add more to what the episode has shown very beautifully about Walter and Broyles and what a parent would do to save their child, just in a general sense. I think the episode said it beautifully, detailed it in performance, in dialogue, in everything. I mean, Broyles giving up himself that way, and the other Broyles finally joining in on that. Wonderful surprise. And then at the end, having Nina see him in prison, and then she's figuring out, oh shit, they played me. And yeah, that was pretty dope. I'm not going to add any more than I need to. Wonderful stuff. But let's now talk about, because that's what I'm itching to get to, what Walter is concluding as Jones's ulterior motive. And I'm just like, why? Why would you want, unless that is just so crazy in and of itself. So I don't know what to think of this. It's just weird. You're making me right now as a viewer, you're trying to convince me that this guy wants to destroy both worlds that he lives in. And all I could think of is, where's he going to go? Is there another world I don't know about? That's the big surprise here. And you know what I'm thinking right now in this moment? A surprise timeline. And then I have to always freaking remember the observers too. Shit. Yeah. I mean, they know what's to come, so I forget about them sometimes. I really do. I actually just, and this show's really good at doing that. They get you so wrapped up with stuff that you're almost forgetting, wait a second, there's actual people who are watching this or who have watched it. So then will his initiative not work? Unless, okay, all right, bear with me here. Don't freak out in the comments, okay? Because you should know by now. I mean, the fourth season in, you should know by now. I'm not the best at picking up on every freaking clue, obviously. And episode 15 is the best testament to that. So just please relax if you are just getting frustrated with me, because I know some of you are. But I had said in a theory commentary, I don't remember which one. I don't even know if it was something I made public for YouTube or not, honestly. But I had said something along the lines of how the observers, if they were from a future, and which future are they from? The Prime Universe's future, the Red versus future, and now that I know of this, well, now that it's clear, apparently, that this timeline is the blend of the other two timelines, right? Oh, God. Now that's, okay, now we have three, okay? Just three timelines here. Is there a fourth one then? If this dude is trying to kill off two of them or destroy the two worlds, then he must know of another timeline to go to? Somehow, some way? Because I don't think he wants to commit suicide here. Jones doesn't look like the type that's like, I'm killing the world and we're all going down. Too bad, so sad. I don't think that's what he's trying to do. And if he's trying to do that, that's going to be some effed up shit. But I'm choosing not to believe that craziness. So I'm wondering if my wacky theory then of a fourth timeline is going to be introduced. And he's going to be like trying to get to that timeline to be like, I'm trying to think, how would it involve the observers with that? Would that be the timeline they're from? Or the universe they're from? Because within a universe, you can have multiple timelines. So I'm wondering that now. Either way, to wrap it up, what I'm thinking in terms of crazy theory, there's an extra world I don't know about, but he does, Jones. And that's why he's trying to get rid of the other two, so that only one stands as the main world, and that's probably, maybe, the universe that the observers are from. Maybe that's their future. And they're coming back in. Oh, God. I stopped there. Okay. Because I'm going to get upset unnecessarily. And I love how this show can do this to me. It's like I love and hate it, right? I love how it's just like, ah! And for those of you that are just so amazing, right? You pick up on every clue on every first watch. Don't rub it in my face, okay? Because that's just not me. So if the clues are there that what he's doing is so obvious, I guess I'm just not picking up on it. And so be it. Just chill out with me on that, okay? I hope it doesn't ruin your experience watching me watch this show, but I know for a few it has. Meh, what can I do? I can't beat myself up on it too much. It's either I'm going to continue watching the show or I'm not, right? So I'll leave it at that. Okay, Ashamoji-wise though, aside from the crazy possible intentions with Jones, everything else was just beautiful. I mean, I love this. I love this episode very much. Very good. 5 Ashemojis, deservingly so. And rewatching it at some point during my edit hopefully will give me a little bit more insight. But I say that all the time, and half the time, like actually 3/4 of the time, nothing comes to mind. And yeah, I think it's too much dependence on waiting and seeing, which is actually, waiting and seeing on comments, not the episodes. Okay, so I'm going to be skipping over to episode 20. It is official from my club members that the consensus is to skip it. So for now, that's a wrap. There you have it on my reaction to episode 18 from the 4th season of Fringe. If you want access to my unfiltered, uncut reactions to Fringe, as well as extra stuff that I share only with my club members, details on joining my club is in the description box below for you. So I'm going to move on to episode 20. I'll see you in that video. Peace out.
Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos.